With these opening 49 seconds, it's more like Night at the Logos. In case you confused it with Walk Like an Egyptian, 1986, off the Different Light album. That kid just fell like 15 feet. Sure, it's survivable, but he should be in some pain, shock, or at minimum a state of, holy f***, what was that? Scene with entombed mummies does not contain one Mr. Thomas Cruise Mapper IV. This wall doesn't look anything like the Gate of Common Ra from the last movie. So I guess we're saying that while they were packing up all the artifacts, these guys took the tablet off this wall only to get it stuck in a door, then accidentally break the edges trying to remove it from the door.
Hey! We must leave this place immediately. If anyone disturbs this tomb, the end will come.
And you thought that would be best conveyed to the group by grabbing a child and shouting in his face?
The end will come.
Oh, this movie? Not soon enough. Hiring Matt Fruber to mostly just look confused.
We're not making a mistake! We're making history!
That 3 live action films and an animated 4th film would come out of this one-note franchise, I guess that could qualify as history. No one ever brings up how much they broke the tablet when they pried it off the wall.
The end will come.
Of this movie? Not soon enough. Battle of the Smithsonian.
What is promised to be a memorable evening, filled with the dazzling special effects and technical wizardry we've all come to admire from this museum.
Yep, you heard that correctly. The public and museum personnel are under the impression that bumbling security guard Larry Daly has become a special effects wizard in his downtime. How does Larry keep all of the party attendees and other museum staff from coming into the museum proper and seeing all this shit come to life? I guess you could say someone is dressed up like Teddy Roosevelt, but how would he explain the talking statue or the giant dinosaur skeleton walking around?
Teddy is grooming his mustache.
Unfortunately, Night at the Museum Secret of the Tomb does not take the Death on the Nile 2022 approach and give us an origin story for Teddy's groomed mustache.
I don't want to make anybody nervous, but...
Then keep the thing you think will make them nervous to yourself, asshole. Also, he finishes this sentence with,
the mayor and the governor are both out there.
Why would that make anyone here nervous? Not even sure Attila the Hun would have a fucking clue what a mayor or governor is.
Reju Filbo? Yeah, Reju Filbo.
Reju Filbo joke never pays off with a cameo by Reju Filbo.
Got kind of a Chippendales thing going on.
Nothing related to the kiddies in 2014 more than references to male strip clubs.
You better come see this.
You better come take a look at this cliche. None of these videos on the right are recommended when you watch the actual kitty light catchers to the rescue video. The sin is the algorithm.
You can't catch that! It's as elusive as human happiness!
Yes, and as a figurine from a museum diorama, I am an expert on the human experience.
I should like to comment.
CinemaSins watchers.
Summon the apparatus.
Or possibly my college girlfriend.
Give a big Texas hell yeah from old Jedediah.
Texas being so Texas about itself that they think they can claim their own version of the phrase, hell yeah. That in turn will get Texas a big CinemaSins hell no, which is very similar to the regular old hell no, but with a little more sass and negativity baked in. And this franchise will continue to present the Neanderthals as doofuses who can't speak properly, even though there has been proof that wasn't the case. These fuckers survived climate change and mass extinctions. They learned how to make and control fire. Fire!
Cue the constellations.
Holy shit, the tablet can bring the light projections from the planetarium to life as well? At a certain point, Larry is a for not showing the damn thing to every scientist ever. You know, for the betterment of mankind.
Orion, the hunter.
Except the Orion constellation is always depicted with him holding a club above his head, and not a bow and arrow. Teddy is getting his Orion confused with his Sagittarius like a real asshole.
Let's drop the silks and go the monkey.
Sadly, this ends up not being a euphemism. So, do these people think the monkey is a special effect? And if they don't think it's a special effect, then where exactly do they think Larry got a fucking monkey? As the tablet starts to oxidize, or whatever, the museum exhibits start to lose their minds. We hear later the tablet is running out of moonlight, which explains them reverting back to their stationary daytime selves. But why would that make everyone malfunction like Steve Carell and Bruce Almighty? They should have been able to trip at most one person before being dragged along with their silly rope. Hiring Rachel Harris to mostly just look confused. Wait, that arrow is real? How the f*** is that arrow real?
It's one of the most peaceful creatures on Earth, and you're hacking into it like it was the Cove or something.
Little known fact among historians is that Attila the Hun was a huge fan of documentaries centering on aquatic life. Can a museum mannequin even be electrocuted like a person? Wouldn't he melt or burst into flames? If you prick him, doesn't he not bleed?
La, that's electricity. Those aren't headphones.
Why does he think saying headphones will make Law understand him more? Does Larry think Law knows what headphones are?
It was your fault! They were your special effects!
I hate to quit harping on this special effects bullshit, but it is so infuriating. Dr. McPhee had to approve a budget for said special effects and approve Larry, a fucking security guard with no special effects qualifications, to be in charge of them. How has Dr. McPhee not been brought in on the knowledge that the exhibits are actually coming to life at night? And since he hasn't been, why is he buying that Larry is making all this happen? Did Larry ask for equipment that he didn't need to keep up the charade? And if he didn't, what does Dr. McPhee think he's using to create the effects? Conjuring spells? Hey Phil, do you know what would really take this movie over the top? I don't, but I can't wait to hear about it. Well, just hear me out. What if we have a subplot where Larry's kid has to prove to his dad how awesome it would be if he skipped college and became a professional DJ? Yeah, I can see that. Wait, what? Rumor has it that everyone born in New York City automatically gets an Eames chair at the hospital. And if you move there, you have to pick yours up at the Port Authority bus terminal.
C.J. Fredericks. He was a night guard. Same as you.
Wait a minute. C.J. Fredericks. Cecil Fredericks?
Dick Van Dyke retconning. Red Diking? Dick Conning? It's murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove.
The end will come.
Of this movie? Not soon enough. Secret of the Tomb.
I thought it meant the end of the world, but maybe it meant the end.
End of the magic.
Why would the locals feel the need to warn them that the magic would end in 70 years? Even if they knew that was the case, who wouldn't take 70 years of magic?
Special effects. It's not special. Of course
effects.
it's. How could it be special
How could it
effects?
not be special effects?
The conversation Tom Cruise thinks we're all having every time he's on the wrong part of a plane somehow makes it into the script.
I'm not asking you to understand. I'm just asking you to trust me.
Influencers.
Under authority of me, of course, the director of this museum, which I still am.
Dr. McPhee uses self-incriminating phrasing and it still works. Won't play it, but since you're seeing London, the obvious choice for the soundtrack is, you guessed it, Hey Young London by Bananarama. Okay, I lied. It's London Calling. But I'll sleep well knowing I tricked at least 5 people with that.
I think I want a DJ in Ibiza.
In Ibiza?
Ibiza, it's a...
Ibiza. Don't come at me, Spain. You put the Z there for a reason.
Dad, what's the plan here anyway?
They decided to discuss their plan down the block from the museum instead of any time during their entire trip from New York to London.
They let me travel, you know where?
No.
Home. Here. Home.
This boring conversation travels on for all to some time.
How we doing? All clear.
Because the British Museum doesn't have a security guard that actually checks inside the museum proper, that worked out nicely for Larry and company.
Lawrence, I couldn't sit idly by. Our very survival is at stake.
Fair enough, but how did they expect to get away with this? Did no one back in NYC notice that Teddy was no longer on his horse? How has this not been reported yet?
That is a deceptively large box.
Nice try, Larry, but I'm still sitting the box that is not large enough to hold all these people in it. This is Night at the Museum, not Doctor Who. Get your fucking TARDIS coffin out of here.
No possible benefit whatsoever.
Yet the character was kept in the script.
La, that's not for eating. That's not food.
So now the magic is creating fully functional digestive systems? Well, I guess you could argue that it's not fully functional if he's eating packing peanuts, but, you know, whatever.
We're all finding this super creepy, right?
Are there no statues at the Museum of Natural History?
Go fetch.
Larry assumes all dinos want to play fetch. It backfires, hilarity ensues, and you and me have been made asses.
Need some help?
What?
Move.
Lancelot's response to being suddenly alive was standing perfectly still until the right moment arose where he could combine a dramatic reveal with big game hunting. Armor's heavy, right? This movie either doesn't know or doesn't care.
President of the United States of America.
I have no idea what that means.
Neither do most Americans. The misadventures of Jedediah and Octavius exist mostly to derail the plot and facilitate the golden shower scene we all thought was missing from the franchise.
Hold my hand!
Why?
Never mind.
Nothing like sprinkling in a little homophobia to go along with all the sophomore humor. Based on Jedediah and Octavius' size in relation to the fall and the fact they basically land on their heads, I think an Octavius and Jedediah survive this is justified.
I didn't see Dex. You know he's a monkey, Lawrence. He can't talk.
Teddy would be the Dr. Doolittle of cinematic animal sins.
I'm sort of set up to track your phone.
You're sort of set up to track my phone? You track my phone?
Nick will get irritated about a common practice that almost all parents do in regards to their kids' cell phones because movie needs a pointless conflict is pointless moment.
It'd be like taking candy from a feeble Egyptian baby.
Some British general in 1882. Also, I believe the very British Lancelot means it would be like taking sweets from a feeble Egyptian baby.
It might be less complicated if you stopped following a chimpanzee.
He's not a chimpanzee, he's a capuchin.
Larry would be Dr. Semantics at Cinematic Animal Sins.
Yep, wop.
If Octavius thinks the M is a W because it's upside down, then why doesn't he confuse the P's for lowercase d's or b's? Should be Lidwad or Liebwab. You see what this movie is doing to me?
I'm not gonna play this game with you.
Whenever there's news of danger, it must be delivered by a character who cannot speak. Otherwise, how would it be ignored? What about this creature is not noticeable prior to walking through the entrance to this room? So it seems volcanoes can be brought to life as well. Fine. But how the hell does lava engulfing a city reset in the morning? The amount of destruction in these movies that gets swept under the rug is uncanny. Tablet inconveniently goes on the fritz at the perfect time to create some excitement? The defibrillator will take down this thing even though it couldn't kill Law. The sheer amount of pee this capuchin produces without ever drinking any water.
I fear we've turned a corner. I'm becoming wax again, son.
But why is it only Teddy that's becoming wax so far? And why hasn't any of this occurred prior to now? The corrosion has been growing on the tablet this entire time. Styrofoam popcorn has no scent.
The Egyptian gods are the only true gods.
Well, we try to stay a little more open-minded.
Half of this movie is completely unnecessary conversations and dancing.
I promise we won't tell anybody.
No.
I'll kiss your staff.
Too late.
Living in a world where it is ever too late to kiss Ben Kingsley's staff. Larry spends an irritating amount of time touching the tablet, but still can't bring it to completion.
What are you doing?
Somehow knowing exactly when to show up to stop the tablet healing from beginning and kick this movie into an unnecessary third act so it can creep its way closer to 90 minutes. That's what Lancelot is doing, Larry.
Well, I have a saying too. Speak loudly and carry a bigger stick.
I have a feeling Lancelot has never said that before in his life and is a liar. Much like an M.C. Escher drawing, this scene makes anything seem possible, and nothing seem to matter. Also, this scene reminds me of the M.C. Escher-esque sequence in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, which also reminds me I would much rather be watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 than this. A Nightmare on Elm Street 5! Did Larry not factor in the museum cameras at all? How did he expect to get away with any of this? He had no way to know an incompetent Rebel Wilson would be at the controls.
Why is Lancelot staying strong while we get weaker? It's his first night. Newborns are stronger, but it matters not.
Oh.
I swear to you, your hideous doppelganger who looks a lot like the lead singer of the County Crows will get it!
Larry says nothing about the fact that it would be very much against the law for her to make good on this threat. And would the hammer even harm him any more than when he puts his head through the window later?
I'm making sketches of you in my mind right now! Boy with freckles, fat Asian with hair extensions.
Narrating your offensive mind sketches.
I mean, I guess it's just parenting, you know? And he comes from a divorced family, so...
Is Larry confiding in Law about his feelings of inadequacy as a parent? Because why? And f***ing why? Neanderthals did in fact use tools, and there were at least 3 things in this room that could have been wielded to smash the glass other than his head. Like this flashlight, or this kettle, or Ben Stiller.
I can't move my arms. We're becoming less useful by the minute.
And now Attila will be affected, but Sacagawea still isn't because the curse is nice enough to affect the exhibits one at a time. I love when the curses are so accommodating.
I'm coming, my love.
Already? Maybe they should have called you Sir Lance a little. All I can say about the lion statues coming to life at this moment is that the rules of this tablet continue to be as malleable as a wax statue of Theodore Roosevelt.
Came this way, traveling 4 leagues per hour.
Ancient Celtic measuring math.
What have they done to Camelot?
Well, Lance, we've all been wondering the same thing since 1967. Never gotten an answer, but we did get quite a few catchy show tunes. Oh man, they dragged legendary performer Alice Eve into this mess. Not sure who the guy is, though.
It is I, Sir Lancelot. I have fulfilled my quest.
But Lancelot has memories of what King Arthur and Guinevere looked like, right? And I'm guessing they didn't look like Hugh Jackman and Alice Eve, so why is he not at least a little confused now?
Hugh Jackman. Huge Ackman? That's a ridiculous name.
It is, but that won't stop me from calling him that from now on.
We're just as God made us.
But Jebediah knows he's a museum exhibit during the day, so why does he think God made him at all?
Come on!
It's unfortunate that Huge Ackman can't escape the legacy of Wolverine. Uvula noses.
Back to the museum. Stand there as little children ogle and point.
I get that Lancelot is figuring out that he's not a real person, but how is he all of a sudden an expert on how museums function?
Okay, so what is it? You all right?
He's not now, but he will be again in just a couple minutes, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be feeling here, other than annoyed the movie thinks I'll believe it's going to kill the goddamn monkey.
Welcome back, buddy.
Somehow, there are still 15 minutes left of this movie.
Dad, if we leave right now, we can still catch a flight. Get home with everyone still awake before the sun comes up.
And they do. It's other bullshit, but they do. Larry and Nick managed to find a flight to accommodate themselves and the large cargo crate filled with the museum people, fly 8 hours, and get through customs and security on both ends all before the sun comes up, and it's a lie.
I just feel like you really listen to me.
Skip
Without the tablet, it's just like any other museum.
So I guess once the inanimate objects come to life, they stay that way until the sun rises? Even if they travel a goddamn continent away from where the f***ing tablet is. Once again, why is Larry hoarding all this insane magic for himself?
Yeah, I felt that was there for a long time, too.
I'm sure there are still moral and ethical concerns about it, though.
I'm wax. She's polyurethane. Somehow it worked.
What worked? The sex? Come on, Teddy, be a gentleman.
You've done your job.
Yet the movie refuses to end. Seriously, why won't you end?
No, I wink with both eyes.
That's blinking.
Oh, this is why it won't end. I'll admit that I did have some fun with these 3 movies. The franchise will admit that someone should have shown all of this to Dr. McPhee 3 movies ago. Movies think that doing the move from Dirty Dancing is endearing and not just random. There's no reason anyone needs to do this other than to remind everyone about Dirty Dancing. This was even random in Dirty Dancing. So now we know this tablet was functioning after not being in the moonlight for thousands of years, and that the greatest discovery in the history of clean energy is being kept under wraps so museum exhibits can come to life and throw dance parties. Greta Thunberg is going to be so angry. The relieved look of someone who doesn't think they have to do any more of these movies.
DJ Donkey Oats is also having a party tonight.
Is everyone a DJ?
Yes.
This was a hobbit hole.
Yes! You got heart, kid, but that belongs to me. I can't help feeling we're making a terrible mistake.
We're making cupcakes.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Regis Philbin, too.
I don't care.
You can't change the plan unless you check with the people who are financing the plan, which is last time I checked, your mother and I, okay?
I can't do anything. I can't ride bikes. I can't do my martial arts. I may never do stunts again.
So your prognosis isn't based on mystery. You gotta get your every patient's history.
Dad, what's the plan here anyway?
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Lawrence.
I'm gonna beat off now.
I want you to meet my friends.
My name's Trevor Slattery.
Your nose it's dripping.
What?
It's melting.
From the fire.
That I need you to acknowledge that it wasn't just a prop for prop's sake, that the nose played.